In 10,000 BC, the Yagals, a tribe, were struggling to find enough mammoths for food, tools, and clothing. Their hunters went farther and farther from the tribe every day to search for food. One night, they came back with a young girl named Evelette, who had lost her mother. The hunters were amazed by Evelette's bright blue eyes, which they had never seen before. The tribe had a wise shaman called the Old Mother. She said that spirits told her a prophecy: dangerous creatures with 4 legs would come to their valley on the day of their last hunt. A brave warrior would emerge from this hunt and marry Evelette. Together, they would lead the tribe to a better life without hunger. However, the tribe's chief didn't believe the prophecy. He wanted to find another way to feed the people instead of waiting for a hunt that could take many years. Before he left, the chief gave his friend Tik-Tik a special spear and asked him to protect his son Dlé. Dlé was teased by the other boys because his father had left the tribe. Tik-Tik stopped fights and told the kids not to speak badly about their former chief. Dlé spent a lot of time alone, and Evelette joined him because she knew what it felt like to be alone after the 4-legged creatures killed her people. Dlé promised he would always be there for her. As time passed, Dlé and Evelette fell in love. When the last hunt came, a young tribe member named Baku told Dlé that the Old Mother believed the prophecy was coming true. Everyone thought that Karen would win Evelette's hand. Evelette suggested running away together because she was worried that Karen was too strong. However, Dlé didn't want to run away like his father did. He promised to win the hunt. Suddenly, Baku announced that the mammoths had arrived. Tik-Tik reminded the hunters that whoever killed a mammoth would become the new chief and receive the special spear. They followed Tik-Tik to where the mammoths were. They quietly approached the herd. Tik-Tik was the first to find the leader of the mammoths and shouted to scare it. The other hunters copied him, and the mammoths started running away. The hunters chased after them. One huge mammoth tried to escape through a narrow passage. The tribe caught it in a net, but when Karen threw his spear, he missed. The mammoth shook its body and broke free from the net. Dlé's hand got stuck, and he couldn't let go. The mammoth dragged him away with it. Now, Dlé's life hangs in the balance, and the tribe's future is uncertain. They face difficult challenges and must discover their strength and the meaning behind their intertwined destinies. The net gets stuck on some rocks, and the mammoth breaks free to chase after Dlé. He dodges its attacks and throws a spear, but it only makes the mammoth angrier. Dlé finds another spear, but it's stuck on the rocks, so he tries to run away. The mammoth follows him and accidentally impales itself on the spear, dying and falling on top of Dlé. The tribe saves him and praises him for killing a mammoth alone, something that has never been done before. They give him the white spear in Evelette's hand. The mammoth is taken for food, and the tribe celebrates, but Dlé feels guilty because it was an accident. He talks to Tik-Tik about it, knowing lying is wrong but not wanting to lose Evelette. Tik-Tik tells him that the Yagal don't use lies to get the white spear. That night, Dlé tells Evelette that he gave the spear back to Tik-Tik but still loves her and wants to be with her. Evelette thinks he's giving up on her and leaves. The next morning, the tribe is attacked by horse riders who capture strong people as slaves and kill anyone who resists. Dlé tries to help, but Tik-Tik stops him because they can't win. The leader of the riders, Warlord, wants Evelette for himself. After taking slaves, the riders leave, and the survivors take care of the tribe. Dlé decides to go after the riders, and Tik-Tik and Karen join him. Baku, despite being told not to, goes with them since he has no family left. They find signs in Evelette's necklace, confirming they're on the right track. They face a snowstorm but survive. They wake up to find the snow has covered the riders' tracks. They wander for days and nights, unsure if they're lost. One-Eye discovers Evelette's necklace, and she is hurt when she refuses to give it up. They find the bloodied necklace later on. Birds fly away in fear, indicating the riders' direction. The forest is dangerous, and the warlord whips them to hurry. Dlé finds a piece of the riders' armor and follows their trail. Tik-Tik advises patience. The next morning, One-Eye wakes Evelette, trying to take advantage of her. Dlé quickly knocks out the intruder and finds Evelette. However, their reunion is interrupted when the horses get scared by something in the woods. Dlé takes Evelette and they start freeing their people while the riders are distracted. But One-Eye sees them and chases after them. They meet up with Tik-Tik and the others, but One-Eye captures Karen. Then, a group of scary birds attacks them. While the riders fight the birds, Baku climbs a tree and Tik-Tik gets hurt. They hide in the trees, and Dlé promises Evelette he'll be back before he lures the birds away from Baku. They run through the forest, and Dlé climbs on a rock to kill one of the birds. Then he uses a bamboo stick to kill another bird. While Dlé is busy, the riders capture Baku and Evelette. Dlé comes back and finds Tik-Tik injured but alive. Dlé makes a bed for Tik-Tik and carries him while following the riders across the plain. They rest and eat along the way. At night, Dlé cauterizes Tik-Tik's wound by burning it with fire. Then Dlé goes hunting for food but accidentally falls into a hole and passes out. Back in the tribe, Old Mother wakes up and has bad dreams. It starts raining heavily, and the hole fills with water. The rain wakes up Dlé, and he sees a big tiger in the hole with him. At first, Dlé wants to kill the tiger, but then he decides to let it go and asks it not to eat him. The tiger comes close to Dlé, sniffs him, and then leaves without hurting him. This allows Old Mother to go back to sleep without worry. Dlé climbs out of the hole and finds Tik-Tik feeling better. They hear sounds of an attack and see smoke in the distance, so they decide to investigate. They reach a small village that was also attacked by the riders. When they find food, they start eating desperately. But then the people from the village surround them with weapons. Just when it looks like they might get killed, the tiger shows up and scares the villagers away. The tiger approaches Dlé and makes a sound to show it approves of him. Then it roars at the villagers for threatening Dlé. After the tiger leaves, the villagers put down their weapons and invite Dlé and Tik-Tik to eat. The leader of the village, Nakudu, can speak their language and says he learned it from a man who looked like Dlé. This man might be Dlé's father who passed through this area before. Dlé wants to find his dad, but Nakudu tells him that his dad was taken by the riders too, and nobody has ever escaped from them. Nakudu shows some paintings to the group. These paintings tell a story about a prophecy concerning a man who can talk to tigers and will free their people. It's clear that they are referring to Dlé. Nakudu sends messengers to inform other tribes, but Dlé is unsure if he can lead them. Tik-Tik tries to comfort him by explaining that his father didn't abandon him, he left to find a better life for their tribe. Now it's up to Dlé to decide if he wants to follow his father's ideals or not. The next day, the messenger returns with bad news. The other tribes have also been attacked by the riders. Tik-Tik wants to go after them, and Nakudu prepares his men to leave. As everyone says goodbye to their families, Dlé notices that Nakudu is alone. Nakudu tells him that the riders killed his wife and took his son, Tudu. Meanwhile, Tudu meets Baku while they are being taken away by the riders, and they quickly become friends. When the group takes a rest, One-Eye tries to force Baku to drink water, but Baku fights back. One-Eye tries to kill Baku, but Evelet stops him. One-Eye is angry and promises to seek revenge later, knowing he can't harm the leader now. Dlé and the others leave their village and are surprised to find many other tribes waiting for them because they heard about the great leader's arrival. They embark on a difficult journey without stopping to sleep or rest. Each day, more tribes join them. Finally, they reach the river and discover that the riders are leaving on boats with slaves in cages. Dlé shouts Evelet's name, and when she hears him, she shows everyone that Dlé will come to rescue them. The children are excited to see a large group of warriors, but the riders silence them. They can't chase the boats, so the tribes discuss their options. They learn about a legend that describes the river as a snake in the desert, and the slaves are taken to the Snake's Eye, which is a place where the sun doesn't move under the moon. The only other way without boats is through the desert, but it seems impossible to walk that far. However, Dlé refuses to give up and leads the tribes into the desert, promising to find the Snake's Eye. They walk for many days, feeling lost at times. Later, Dlé looks at the sky and realizes that the eye of the snake refers to the North Star. They must travel at night and use it as a guide. Meanwhile, the old mother stops talking to anyone and waits for the right moment to fulfill her duty. Finally, the tribes find the riders' destination, a place called the Mountain of the Gods. The slaves arrived a few days ago and are being forced to build a pyramid for an advanced civilization. The riders have also enslaved mammoths and treat them disrespectfully, which angers Baku and Karen. Whenever a horn sounds, everyone must kneel before the leader known as the Almighty and his priests. Today, the Almighty is unhappy with the slow progress and orders a slave to be sacrificed as punishment. One of Karen's friends is thrown off the building and dies instantly. Dlé begins to lose hope because even with all the tribes together, they don't have enough people to attack. But Tik-Tik suggests that if the slaves join them, their numbers will increase. At night, Dlé and Nakudu sneak into the building where the slaves are kept to check on them. Nakudu reunites with his son, while Dlé learns from Baku that Evelet is held separately. Dlé apologizes to Karen, who believes in the prophecy and pledges loyalty. Another slave objects to Dlé's presence, claiming weapons can't harm a god. Nakudu reveals Dlé's ability to communicate with tigers and introduces a blind man who knows the god's fear of the mark of the hunter. Guards approach, forcing Dlé and Nakudu to leave. Before leaving, Dlé inquires about the blind man's familiar bracelet. Returning to their army, Dlé and Nakudu find guards following them. Tik-Tik fights the guards but is stabbed by a feigning guard. Tik-Tik entrusts Dlé with a white spear before dying. Evelet steals the warlord's sword but is interrupted by priests and guards, leading to the warlord's arrest. The priests discover the mark of the hunter on Evelet's hand. Meanwhile, Dlé buries Tik-Tik and accepts the white spear. He delivers an inspiring speech, urging unity against powerful foes. They infiltrate the enemy camp, pretending to be slaves. Dlé designates Baku as the hunter. Evelet and the warlord face the Almighty, who orders Evelet's public execution. Dlé and Karen locate the mammoth leader, while Baku and Tudu free the mammoths. Dlé signals the battle, but his attempt to scare the mammoth fails. Guards arrive, and Karen fights them, sacrificing himself. Dlé's roar intimidates the mammoth, causing a stampede that crushes the guards. Inspired, the slaves rebel, and tribesmen join the fight. The Almighty, aware of the rebellion, orders Evelet's death. Dlé sees Evelet and stops the warriors from fighting. The slaves kneel when they hear a horn, and the Almighty appears, threatening to kill Evelet unless Dlé turns back. Dlé agrees, but only if he can take his tribe with him. The Almighty allows Dlé's tribe to leave but keeps the others. Dlé realizes the Almighty is not a god but a human and kills him. The slaves join the fight again. Baku tries to get revenge on One Eye but fails, and One Eye captures Tudu. Nakudu saves his son by killing One Eye. The slaves attack the priests and burn their boats, while Warlord frees Evelet and takes her away. Dlé chases them, and Evelet stabs Warlord, causing them both to fall. Dlé rushes to Evelet, but Warlord shoots Evelet with an arrow. The old mother feels it and starts bleeding. Dlé kills Warlord in anger. The people celebrate, but Dlé is devastated as Evelet dies in his arms. Heartbroken, Dlé seeks a peaceful end for himself, but the old mother dies. Suddenly, Evelet comes back to life. Dlé rejoices and the tribes celebrate. They return to their villages, and Nakudu gives Dlé seeds to help his people. The tribes say goodbye forever. Dlé and his tribe plant the seeds, which grow quickly. With Dlé as their new leader and enough food, the prophecy of the old mother is fulfilled.